Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Anything Blows. And today I've got a very special guest on the channel, Misfits fighter OJ Rose. He is scheduled to fight at the Vertu Motors Arena in Newcastle on September 23rd on Misfits 009. OJ, how you doing, my brother?
Feeling good, man. I'm exhausted from this camp, but it's gonna be worth it in the end, bro. I'm telling you.
I love to hear it. I forgot to mention that you're fighting Callum Izzard. How do you evaluate your opponent? And I've just come after watching a face-to-face. So is there a little bit of heat behind it, or is it all respect?
It's respect, but I can tell he thinks he's gonna win. But luckily, I got God on my side. Gonna handle business on that day. I'm the businessman after all. I'm the businessman. You know what I'm saying? I handle business.
I love to hear it. And he said this is probably the worst business decision you've made. Can we go over that? Do you think it's the worst, or are you going to prove him wrong?
I will prove him wrong. It's the best for me because think about it. I'm very small on YouTube, internet, TikTok, all that. He's very big in the UK. I will take his fans and take his chin. You know? Nah, this.
I love to hear it. So just before I go on to him, let's talk about you for a second. How's camp going? Who's your head trainer, and who do you train with?
Camp is going good. It's very hard camp. I'm telling you right now, my body's exhausted, killing me, but it's gonna be worth it in the end. I train with the former pro boxer, Coach Mark Sanders and Coach Barry over at Hitsville Gym. We're putting in the work every day.
I love to hear it, champ. So we say there again, it's Misfits for a reason. It's celebrities where universes combine. You'll get actors, you'll get YouTubers, you'll get TikTok stars. So I want to talk about you first before we move on to your opponent. Where did the desire come from for OJ Rose to become a social media star? Where did the TikToks come from, and where did the YouTube come from?
Well, let's see. When I was in college, about 2 or 3 years ago, sitting in my bed one day, I watched so much content myself. I figured might as well do it myself. I used to grow up watching DDG, Pretty Boy Fredo, things like that, Gideon. That's my kind of content, in real life pranks, stuff like that. It fit my forte, fit my character, and here we are.
I love to hear it, and I see the same with myself. I've been watching so many people for so many years, and it was my sisters that told me, why don't you do a podcast? You love boxing, you love MMA. Why don't you just start talking? And I never thought I'd have the opportunity to get fighters such as yourself on the channel. So that's why I'm honored every time I have someone, and someone who I've got a connection to. Because I did say last few years, I've been watching you midnight, 1 a.m. when I'm going to sleep just before I go to college or school. I'm just watching your content. So we're going to pick up on that firstly. One video I want to talk about is a video you've got is going up to college students or going to dorms and asking them to spar. So you have the boxing vision and the passion beforehand. So where did your passion for boxing begin, and why do you do those type of videos?
I'm not sure, man. I've always been an athletic person, always been into sports. Boxing is just something that came naturally. I'm a fighter at heart, got a little dog in me, as they say. It's something I can do on casually or for real.
Okay, so next question I want to move on to. How do you evaluate your opponent, Callum Izzard? Correct me if I'm wrong. You're both 1-0 in the sense that you've had the exhibition bout, but in terms of a pro bout or a Misfits bout or that type of level, you've both had one fight. So how do you evaluate him?
Well, he's had an exhibition bout. I've had a pro bout in the Americas on box record and everything. I'm 1-0. He's 1-0. He's coming from a higher weight. Went to his backyard. It's gonna be a hard fight for me, but I'm down for it. I'm ready for anything.
I love to hear it. And you mentioned out there, what are you looking to bring to Newcastle? What are you looking to bring to the UK on British soil? We've had so many Americans in recent history upset the Brits. So what are you going to do differently?
I gotta make history repeat itself, man. It's not gonna be easy task, but we're gonna put the pressure on them. Show them my power. I have a lot of power that I haven't ever shown for real. I got that power of God in me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let y'all know what's going on.
I love to hear it. So let me take you back a little bit. Let's go to Misfits 006, your Misfits debut. You fought Kimbo Slice Jr., the son of a legend, and I'd call him a legend as well, because going on with Chris Eubank Jr., Chris Eubank Sr., Conor Benn, Nigel Benn, Campbell Hatton, Ricky Hatton, just because their fathers are legends, they don't want to classify their sons as legends, but their sons have done notable things. Kimbo Slice Jr. has fought in Bellator and high-level MMA guy. Let's talk about that. How did you find the press conference? Because we know these Misfits press conferences, they go crazy and they're wild. But how do you not take in the abuse and the hate? Because I feel like I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, one of his teammates or someone to do with him were chanting, "Oh, you're shaking, he's shaking," something like that, and you prove them wrong.
Man, that was Anthony Taylor himself there. They're in the same gym. He was saying, chirping at me the whole time, oh, I'm going to get knocked out, 30 seconds, this, that, the third. But look what happened, man. I'm proving wrong. Let my confidence show through.
I love to hear it. And just talk a little bit about that night. Did you have the pressure, not only signing the contract, but it's Kimbo Slice Jr.? What gave you the confidence? Because every fighter takes the fight knowing they're going to be their opponent. No one's in there to lose. So what gave you the confidence? And talk a little bit about that historic night, not only for Misfits Boxing, but for OJ Rose yourself.
Well, confidence could come from me, comes from God above my Lord and Savior. You know, coming from a background of YouTube, facing a profiler in my debut, he was 3-3 in Bellator, I believe. Plus, he fought on some exhibitions before in boxing, celebrity boxing. So I was less experienced than him, but I knew that God was me. I come from track and field, you know what I'm saying? On the track, I'm a good sprinter, but that's not boxing. So I had to lock in, put in good work. People don't know this, but I actually changed camps about 2-3 weeks before the fight. So that was kind of a worry, but luckily I locked in, got the coaches behind me, good team behind me, and made history.
I love to hear that, and I thank you for doing that, just because that not only inspires me, but so many other people to say, you know what? One thing I related to was I've been a Dustin Poirier fan since 2014, 2015, right? And when I saw him knock out Conor McGregor, everyone's saying, oh, you're just jumping on a hype train. No, I've watched him since the beginning. So to see someone like yourself come from humble beginnings and defeat someone on that level, it just means anything is possible in this world. Two things I want to pick on that. Your opponent, Callum Izzard, and I think a lot of social media trolls are trying to take down that win in a sense that they describe it how they want to describe it. In my eyes, it's a perfect win. My eyes, the referee is there to do his job. So how do you not let that get to your head, saying that, oh, they should take that 1-0 away from you?
Well, the thing is, it was a pro bout. It was not the PBA where they can give you a standing 8 count. Once you don't respond for a certain amount of time, the fight's over, you know? And his head hit the turnbuckle, snap back. Safety first, you know what I'm saying? Safety first.
I love to hear it. And another thing you said, track and field. Could we actually get you and Callum Izzard to do a race after the fight?
I asked him face to face. I don't know if he wants to. I'm down for whatever, man. You know me.
I love to hear it. And just before I move on, Anthony Taylor, he's fighting King Kenny. How do you think that bout goes? And do you think you could ever face Anthony Taylor?
I feel like King Kenny is way too big and way too long for Anthony Taylor. AT has the experience on the side, but King Kenny's it's gonna be a boring fight, in my opinion. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a boring fight. It's gonna be either a hug fest or a jab fest by King Kenny. We'll see.
I love to hear it, brother. One thing I want to mention here, talk a little bit about Misfits 008. It was meant to be you and Kimbo versus Dean, and who was the other guy he had before they put Waleed in?
Lil Cray.
Oh, okay. So how do you talk about that? And do you like the idea that Misfits put former opponents together? Do you like that?
I think that's the theme they're going for now. Because they have Played and B-Dave. Cray and Dean were going to fight eventually, so it's going to be that too. And then me and Kimbo. I like that. And I think that Keemstar pulled out Dean because of the weight, and Cray got to come out because he can't get paid for fights because he's an amateur fighter, you know? So that was his thing.
I love to hear it, brother. Another question I want to ask you. We look at your shorts and we see your background, and not only your background, but we see your profile picture. Talk about your Nigerian background and why is it so important for you to have that on your shorts?
You know, I love to have the country on my side. The same way Poppy has the Philippines, I want to have Nigeria on my side. We have Kenny, Deji, KSI, all from Nigeria, but they don't represent, you know? So I got to put it on my back, you know?
I love to hear it, and that means a lot because, for example, the younger kids coming up, if they see that Nigerian flag or those colours on your shorts, that's an inspiration to them. So I love that. Another question I wanted to ask you, who were your inspirations in boxing and who did you look up to in boxing? Who do you look up to now?
Well, just like everybody else, I love Floyd Mayweather, man. I love Andre Ward. I love Terrence Crawford, man. I love how they all kept their faculties about them. They're not too punch drunk, very healthy, even in their later years, living their lives, you know, have families and everything. I like that.
I love to hear it. And so going with KSI and Deji, well, Theo Baker and Joe Weller first started it from their own YouTube video. But when did you start boxing? Not only for the YouTube sake of it, the YouTube side of it, but when did you start boxing and taking it seriously?
I got into YouTube boxing around Social Gloves with Bryce Hall and Oscar Broom and around Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. Well, I didn't train seriously until I got my fight announced for IFL, which is that tag team match. I don't know if you saw that. February of this year.
Yeah.
Around January, December of 2022.
So would you say that's the reason and the desire you had to start boxing, your passion to start boxing?
Yes, because I saw people like me, my contemporaries, content creators, like on TikTok, YouTube. I make content too, so why can't I do it? You know, that was my thing.
And I'm going to say this to you now. So many people want to tear down other people's dreams. I truly believe this in my heart. And I'm not someone that says something for the sake of it. I truly believe whenever it's going to happen, one day me and you are going to be on the same card, and God willing, that happens.
Amen. I believe it too, brother. Manifest it.
I'll hear that, brother. A question I should have asked you earlier is, and I love about that manifestation, because if you don't believe in it, if you don't dream of it, if you don't think of it every single day of your life, then it wouldn't happen. For example, this podcast or this interview, I wanted to have you on, and I finally have the honor of having you on. So another thing I want to say there, did you have the pressure when you fought Kimbo, having Nate Diaz ringside and Gideon? How was Gideon cheering you on?
Man, I heard him the whole fight. He has a very loud voice. I appreciate him a lot. It meant a lot to me because I watch him, you know? That's my role model.
I love to hear that, and same with yourself. That's what I said. I love guys like yourself, Balin Levine, Fred Bayer, or Fred Bayer, should I say, Deadrian Harden, Canal, Ricky, because you turn these guys on, including yourself, 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long the video is, your just mind disappears and you're pure happiness. And that's the reason I do this as well, to inspire other people. So, last few questions before I let you go. Okay, so I believe October 14th in the A Arena in Manchester, where it all started for KSI and Logan Paul. They return now the double main event. So before I go on to the actual two fights, I want you to talk about what Dylan Dennis has done to Logan Paul. Do you think that's mental warfare, or has he gone too far?
It's mental warfare for sure because think about it, Logan Paul goes to sleep with her every day. He sees those tweets, all these men. Like me personally, if I saw that, I'll think about that every time that I made love to her. And that would bother me a lot, you know?
I'd love to hear it. So going on that, it's a stacked card, and I think there's a few more fights to be announced, but Dean the Great versus Waleed Sharks, a rematch.
I don't know who got it because I saw Waleed against APAP and Yuddy. Yuddy Gang was piecing him up a little bit. I don't know if Waleed came off the couch or anything like that, but he was looking kind of sloppy. But Dean has a new coach behind him, a new team. It's gonna be a different fight. Not gonna be the same fight.
I love to hear it, brother. So another fight I want to talk about, the co-main event, or should I say the double main event, Logan Paul versus Dylan Dennis. This has been written off as the two real fighters against the two YouTube fighters, but I'm going to put that away. Logan Paul, look at fighting Floyd Mayweather, shows anything is possible. Logan versus Dylan, and I believe it's a 6-rounder.
Yes. I saw some sparring from Dylan Dennis. He looks like he's tough. I think if he doesn't get knocked out, it's a win for him in my book. Even if he doesn't win the fight, go distance with the Logan, it's a win. You know what I'm saying?
I love to hear it. And the main event, KSI versus Tommy Fury, the toughest test of KSI's professional career.
Man, I wish I was a lower weight. 183 pounds is no easy task for someone like KSI's size and stature. I want KSI to win, but it's going to be hard because that jab is going to be there all night. That long frame, that big stocky frame by Tommy, it's going to be there. So it's going to be hard, but I'm rooting for KSI.
I love to hear it. And as I was saying to Little Belsy, who had on the channel earlier, I can see an upset by Dylan. I can see an upset by Tommy Fury, because when you have that name, Fury, it's like if you had a Mayweather name, Hatton name, Crawford or Davis. But again, backing my boys, KSI and Logan Paul, who I've supported since the beginning. So, penultimate question I have for you, OJ, is what is your one motivational message to people, whether it be boxing, whether it be influencer boxing, whether it be Misfits, whether it be MMA, whether it be drama, theatre, content creation, going into acting? What's your one motivational message to them to block out the outside noise, block out the haters, block out the negativity, and follow and pursue their dreams?
I would say, for one, love what you do. If you don't love what you're doing, why are you doing it? You know what I'm saying? And as well, always have God on your side, have faith on your side, because even if you don't want to do it, he'll push you, he'll give you the chance, the motivation to do whatever you want to do in life.
And I want to ask that to you. Obviously, for religious people will understand it, but why is God so important to you?
He saved me many times in my life. I can't speak on it too much, but he shows he's there for me when I feel like he's not. He's got me in situations where it's like, dang, I'm at my rock bottom right now, but God, he gives me a hand and picks me up.
I love to hear it. And last question after you. What does this fight do for you if you, God willing, win it against Callum Izzard? And what do you bring to Misfits Boxing? And what can fans expect from you on September 23rd against Callum Izzard at the Vertu Motors Arena in Newcastle? God willing, getting your first win on British soil and upsetting and shocking the Brits and getting them all on your side.
Well, it would do a lot for me. It'll give me a big statement win. You know, it'll give me more UK fans. So I'll be on more UK cards. It'll help me get a lot more better fights in the future. No more small imported fights. No more free fights on pay-per-view cards. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I need this because I'm a small creator right now. I'll build my fan base up over time, but luckily, this fight here's a big fan base in the UK. I'll steal his fans, make them my fans, and we'll go from there. I want to get a good stoppage, no early stoppage, no, oh, too early, whatever. No, I want a good stoppage, clean, and we'll go from there, man. That's what I'm looking for.
I love to hear it. And I should have asked you earlier, what weight is this fight at and how many rounds?
170 pounds, 4 rounds, 3-minute rounds.
Love to hear it, ladies and gentlemen. OJ Rose, proud and honored to have him on the channel.
Be sure to subscribe to Anything Blows on the way up this year. Let's go.